I got to play me some Realms of Ruin in a little content creator playtest, playing some multiplayer battles against each other. I have no idea who I'm facing here though. I'm playing as Oryx, but I'll try and explain how the game works, talk about the gameplay going on in the background sometimes, and what I think of it. Now, starting off with the map, you can see 2 points here on the left, the kind of compass-shaped one, that's like a resource node, and then this dice-type looking one on the right is a capture point which you need to take to win the game. And of course, the map is made up of these. I've got 3 resource nodes and a capture point on my side of the map. My opponent has the same, and then there's a capture point and 2 resources in the middle of the map. Now that's probably sounding pretty familiar to you if you play Dawn of War or Company of Heroes, and it's pretty standard in these kind of RTS games. Now, at the moment, I'm just sending my troops out to capture these points as quickly as possible, but I've only got 2 units and I need more. So I'm going to recruit either some Gut Rippers that I can get, some Hobgrot Throat Slitters, or some Man-Skewer Bolt Boys, which is what I'm going to go for, one of those, and then 1 Gut Rippers as well. And that did cost me currency. In the top left, you see the blue flag, that's Command. That's one of our currencies we need to gather from the resource nodes. And the other one, the orange shell-looking thing, is Realm Stone. Now, one thing about the capture points is that the longer you stand in them, the bigger the area grows. You might notice the area, there's a little yellow goldy line that's expanding the longer I stand in the area. Well, the more it expands, the more resources it generates. So it pays to stick around once you've taken a point to get that area as big as possible, because you'll not only generate more income, you'll also make it take longer for the enemy to take the point off you. Now here you can see our first engagement, the enemy's hero coming into a couple of my units. He's taken that central victory objective, which means he now has 2, and thus he's depleting my points, whereas before I had 1 and he didn't have any, thus I was depleting his points. So basically whoever's got the most control points depletes the other one's points until they get to 0. It's pretty much your standard kind of domination game. My enemy brought over another unit, but you can see it says unstoppable on it as it runs away. That's because he's kind of told it to retreat. And much like Dawn of War, you tell it to retreat, it becomes kind of semi-invincible, but it has to run back to base, so that you can heal it and save it from death, basically, because much like any other game, you don't want to lose your units in this. You want to keep them alive and upgrade them. There is a tech tree you might notice on that little recruitment screen, but I didn't notice that when I was playing, and these kind of tests, especially multiplayer, are kind of a bit rushed sometimes, so you don't really get to just sit down and just see and look at everything you want to. You have to just kind of rush and play multiplayer. So I'm not entirely sure what the tech tree does, but I didn't seem to desperately need it. Over here, I've got some high ground with some of my Bolt Boys shooting down on some enemies. I pushed them back from staying in their objective there. But here you see I'm upgrading one of the resource nodes that I've got, and you can upgrade it to do different things. In this case, I've upgraded it so that it produces more resources, but I could get it to increase line of sight or to provide healing. It can give a little structure that'll defend itself that the enemies will have to beat and smash down before they can take the point themselves. So there's some depth to the game there in making good use of those and deciding which ones are best for your faction and your playstyle. But currently this game is pretty even in terms of the score. I've got a little squad heading over to take the capture point though. And in terms of units, it's kind of a usual rock, paper, scissors deal. There was a triangle they showed us that was, what was it? Missiles beat regular infantry beat shielded infantry beats missiles. Loosely speaking, of course. There's plenty of variables there. A lot of units have abilities that they can use as well to do various things, especially like your hero character can be pretty powerful. Later on, you're going to see me get a big troll boy, and the enemy's going to have a big dragon, and there's going to be all sorts going on. But for the most part, there is kind of a system to learning your matchups and learning what units are going to be good where and which ones beat what. And then, of course, there's the difference between the factions themselves. So Oryx, for example, can generally field more units and have more numbers, but their units are kind of generally weaker, whereas the Stormcast boys will have fewer units, but they'll be much stronger. And I'm about to take a capture point back. I am losing at this point, but we're about to turn it around, hopefully. I now have enough Realm Stone to upgrade my base, so I'm going to do that. That's going to give me more units and a bigger unit cap so I can get more of my units. And what units can I get? Well, my killer boss was already there, but he's my hero. I can only get one of him. I can get a Marsh Crawler Sloggoth, which I'm going to grab. I also had the option of a Shaman or a Giant Killbow, though. For now, though, just the Sloggoth. I have no idea what it does. This is literally my first game as Oryx. I've only played one before this as Stormcast Eternals, where I was just kind of figuring out the game and learning what the hell does what. But here, my enemy has snuck round to my side and has taken the point that's closest to my base. I've engaged his missiles, though, to stop them from firing and to take care of them in melee. He's got one melee unit, though, engaging me there, but I've got missiles and a melee unit going after him. And I did manage to reclaim the point, but he brought some more units over, which is forcing me to retreat from this area, so he's probably going to take this back in a second. I have taken a bit of a lead now, though. But here comes my Sluggoth that I have no idea what it does. I'm just going to charge it in and see what happens. I'm going to heal all these boys, trying to keep them alive. Healing does cost currency, so you do have to kind of be smart with it. You don't just want to spam it off all the time for like a single unit. You want to try and get a few together. But my Sloggoth is out here doing Gork and Mork's work, or I don't know who the Auric god is. Is it still Gork and Mork? You tell me. I've discovered it's got a net ability though, and I'm going to use that. And as you may have seen there, I netted the ranged units. There you go. Doesn't net them for terribly long, but it is a stun, so it stops them firing, keeps them pinned there. Good if I had some infantry nearby, which could have taken advantage of them being stuck there. But I managed to repel the enemy's attack and reclaim my point, and now get a nice little lead. I've got enough points as well to upgrade my base to the final tier, which I am going to do. Get me some more units, more unit cap. Let's go. But while I was doing that, this son of a bitch has taken the central point with some flying boys, which look a bit intimidating. But we're orcs, we charge him regardless, we don't care about safety. He comes charging in though, launching some kind of flying attack on my boys and stunning them. I'm bringing all my other stuff round. I might be a little bit too divided at this time. I should really be there all together with one force, taking on all those tough units. As you can see, they're putting my boys in the bin, so I'm going to try and retreat them as quickly as possible. One of them died. Going to engage now though. I do have my Sloggoth coming, and I did get a kill bow, you can see on the left there. Going to try it out for the first time right here, get a little flanking position. Seems like we're winning this fight though. I now have my tier 3 units. I've got a Merc Knob and the big Troll Boy. For now, I'm just going to get a Merc Knob, and I get 2 of them because I think that they're a unit, but apparently it's a single entity. So showing my Age of Sigmar ignorance there. And I'm unable to beat away this attack, so the enemy's going to hold that control point for now. I'm going to have to fall back. Scheiße. But I'm regrouping. I've got a group of boys. I've got the Merc Knob now with this Breath of the Maya Drake's ability, which, well, presented me with the first big problem I had with this game, which is a fixable one. It's just a balance issue, really. Some of these AoE spells, this is an AoE spell, you're going to see me use it throughout the rest of this gameplay. It's incredibly strong. It kills units very quickly. The Stormcast also have a similar thing, which happened to me a few times. There's these ridiculously strong AoEs that can just wipe out all of the units that are stuck in the AoE very quickly. You don't have much time to react or do anything, and I can see that as something that might get abused in multiplayer matches, and that would definitely put people off playing. And you can see my opponent here hasn't defended the middle objective. He's taking one of the resource nodes off to the right. And back at my main base, I've got another little force, which I'm going to send to go for the farthest point, the one near his base. I'm going to try and take all 3 points. I'm going greedy, because I did have quite a nice lead on him, but he's clawed his way back now. We're both in 400 points each, so it's a pretty close game. But here's that ability I'm using. I don't really know how good it is at this point. I'm just using it randomly. But you see the cone shape there? That's going to fill up with green smoke gradually, and any enemies that are caught within that are going to take some serious damage. But you'll see some better examples of that later on. For now, my big other force is heading straight down the center to try and get after that farthest point. And there's nobody there to defend it, so we take that straight off him. But he's done the same thing to me as he's back taking the point nearest my base. So I've got to send some units back to try and sort that out. I won this situation on the right-hand side. As you can see, nothing over there. I do have a kill bow kind of sat at the back, which is doing some pretty good work for me in all these fights around here. He brings over one of his drakes, though. Brings that down. I've got a lot of missiles, though. I'm just blasting away at him. He's pretty outnumbered there. Probably not a great situation to fly that in. You can see my boy's getting stuck in some mud there. So there's certain kind of terrain on the map which can affect you in certain ways. Coming in, he's only got 1 unit here that's taken my point, so I should be able to get rid of that, no problem. And watching this footage back, I have realized that I kind of missed an opportunity to zoom down and look at the fights close up, which I did want to do, but honestly, I just really wanted to win this one as Orc, so I was try-harding as hard as I could to get that victory. But the more I played, the more I got used to trying to use the abilities at the right time and to make use of all the things that the units could actually do. And this demo just had the 2 factions, the Oryx and the Stormcast. There's 2 more factions in the full game, I think. I'm not sure which ones they are. I don't think they've announced it yet. Probably the Ghosty Boys. I'm not sure if Age of Sigmar faction names. Maybe some kind of Chaos or Beasts, or I don't know. You tell me, you Age of Sigmar nerds out there. What do you think the 4 factions will be? What's the 4 biggest ones, I guess, is going to be the options. But I suppose there's a lot of room for DLC there as well. But oh, here's that OP ability. Watch as it takes the health off the enemy units. You might see it a little bit here. You saw it took half health off that unit at the back in like a second. Killed the other one that was nearly dead there, and has nearly killed the dragon as well. So yeah, it's a little kind of crazy. Again, I've got more examples of it later, don't you worry. Obviously, I abused the shit out of it. But I went to take my enemy's point closest to his base and found 2 of his units trying to do the same thing to me. But this time, I had a unit defending there, although he does the cheeky, engages with one of his units and then sends the other one around to take the point. But unfortunately for him, my units are still too close to the point, and he's not able to take it before we arrive. But that seems to be one of the biggest mistakes of my opponent, is he's very often sending a small force to engage a much larger force of mine, like 1 or 2 units to engage like 4 or 5 of mine. And that's definitely hurting him. Although he's keeping pace, I am gaining a bit of a lead now though. But can I keep it? We shall see. Back over by the central point, he's sending some more stuff. Just a dragon and a single unit, so only 2 units again against like 5 of mine. He's realized though that my kill bow is sat at the back, just blasting away at him always when he tries to engage me here, so he's charged through to get to it, and he's attacking it now, desperate to get rid of it, which is a smart move. Although I'd say he maybe could have just flanked around behind me, running through that kind of control point and coming up behind me instead of running through me. But hey, it's working for him. I'm going for the point closest to his base though. However, he has taken out my force by the central point, although he does control the central point now, so not a huge gain for him, because he's still losing, essentially. But I want that central point, so here comes my troll boy. This is my first time using him. He's got a charge ability, as many units do. You can see the arrow there of me trying to line it up. I am playing on controller as well, I should say, but I'll talk about that in a second. Bringing in the troll, he knocks the dragon down a little bit all over the place. Saves one of my units. He's got another unit here as well, though. Going to use one of the troll's abilities. I think it does damage to him, but it makes him do this. Go a little crazy, smash around. He does a good bit of damage. I managed to inadvertently take the point there as well, so I now control all 3 victory objectives. Got to check on my other units and try to heal those up in a second, though. Should be able to beat the dragon, although at least I would have been if this unit wasn't here, so I'm going to retreat from that for now. He is pushing me back from this point as well. So he's fighting back. My opponent not going down easy. I do have quite the lead on him now, though. 400 to 100 points. But it ain't over till it's goddamn over. So I'm regrouping now, getting a little force together, going to heal everyone up, and then get back in there. I start by marching on the central point, where he's only got 1 unit defending, so that should be an easy take. But as I said, I'm playing on controller here because there was only 2 options, and it was either mouse and keyboard, but you had to use the really, personally I find, outdated control system of using mouse edge scrolling and then WASD as hotkeys. I really hate that control system. I really don't like using it. I wanted to change and see if I could mess around with the keybinds, but they wouldn't let me look at the options, so I couldn't do that. So I just went with controller, and honestly, it actually worked really damn well. It was actually quite an intuitive control system for an RTS game, so I really didn't mind playing on controller. And if I can't use WASD to move the camera in the final game, then I probably will just play on controller. Because honestly, it didn't feel like any great disadvantage over playing mouse and keyboard. And here I'm fighting for the point closest to my base. The enemy's got some high ground, but I'm going to use that overpowered ability, and as you see, it quickly kills that unit. And the enemy going to use a similarly powerful AoE here. I think this might be the one I was talking about for the Stormcast, which does a lot of damage. You can't really see it here because there's not enough units to damage, but it's very strong. And at this point now, the enemy is controlling all 3 objectives, and you can see my points are flying down. He's closing that gap between us very quickly. I need to look alive, basically. So I've got a big old force. Here comes the OP ability again. You know I'm abusing that shit to no end. I've got to get that victory. Here it is on this side as well. You know I've got 2 of them. And here's probably the best example of how powerful it is. Watch how quickly it damages these 2 units. The one on the left, nearly dead anyway after that shot, but takes it down in about 2 seconds, and then takes out the bow in about 3 or 4 seconds. You can imagine if there was more units in a small space there, you wouldn't have much time to get away from that. And I used that over here as well to get rid of the units that were here. I've pretty much got this side won. So with that and the power of my merc knobs, I've managed to take back 2 of the objectives, and that puts me on the winning score again. I've got him down to under 100 points now, my 276 to his 87. Things are looking good for me. At least at the moment I think they do. Gonna use my OP ability there just to kill that dragon again. Takes him down pretty quick. Here comes his hero. Too little, too late, though. Still got the kill bow going. Oh, I've got a troll back here. Bring him in. I'm looking pretty good to win this at this point, right? I've got plenty of units around 2 points. I just got to hold them for a bit. He brings in another unit, but again, he brings it in by itself, where he probably should just wait back for a minute and bring in another unit or 2 to help out, because he knows what's here. He's just seen it, so he should know that it's probably going to be a bad idea to charge that unit in by itself, and it's just getting destroyed. But he does start to bring a few more groups of troops around that I've got to deal with. But overall, how did I find this game? Did I enjoy it, or did it absolutely suck orc balls? Well, I'd say I enjoyed it. Quite honestly, it's basically Dawn of War. If you like Dawn of War and you like Age of Sigmar, you're sorted. You probably will enjoy this game. It feels pretty well done. It looks very nice. However, if multiplayer is going to be the main sell, if there's just going to be a kind of linear campaign that you just go through once, I can't see me playing the campaign through more than once. I'll probably play a bit of multiplayer, but it's probably going to be one of those games that turns into a very small community of hardcore multiplayer players, and anyone new that tries to come in is probably just going to get stomped on. So it really depends what the matchmaking system is like, and if there's going to be a way to kind of divide the newer players from the better players and match them up appropriately. Also depends if there's maybe like 2v2s and things like that, which are always fun. I do enjoy a good 2v2 or a 2v2v2 or a 3v3v3. Plus, like I said, lots of potential for some nice DLCs and to add more factions in and maps and things like that. So the game will do pretty well for itself, I think, but it's not really blowing the genre up or doing anything new for the RTS genre. Like I say, Dawn of War. At this point, I've got the enemy beaten down to but 28 points to my 238. It should be an easy victory, right? I've got a big old force. I'm moving in, taking the point closest to my base as he's taking quite a few off me. I have snuck around and taken the point closest to his base as well. But look at my bow unit near the point there. Gets absolutely obliterated by his AoE in like 2 seconds. There's another one of those AoEs. I'm sending one of my units around to get that bow up there. Got my troll knocking somebody on the head. My hero is trying to hold the point. I still hold the 2 points. I've got him down to 21 points. I'm looking good. At least until the enemy reclaimed the point near his base. And now I'm losing. I've got him down to 18 points, but he's now whittling away my points. And you may have noticed the timer at the top in the middle, 36 minutes. This is nearly a 40-minute game, and by the end of it, it is going to be about a 40-minute game. And I think that's because the pace of the game is maybe a little bit slower feeling than Dawn of War, perhaps. I'm not sure, I haven't played Dawn of War in a long time, but I feel like it moves a little bit slower overall, which is good in a way. It gives you more time to think and get the right decisions made. They did say the average game would last about 30 minutes, so this one going on a little longer than usual, probably because it comes down to the goddamn wire. Things are looking a little bleak for me here. He's got 2 control points. He's now pushing on the 3rd. I've not got much to defend there. Oh, scheisse. I do have my troll, though, who does fend off a few attackers. He is getting shot by a bow, but we're going to charge them down. There is a Drake around, too, which we're trying to get rid of over here. And he's nearly got me under 100 points. I am starting to shit myself, I will not lie. My heart was racing. I wanted that win, but goddammit, it was slipping away from me. But I've got a little force coming now to sort the Drake out and to make sure I don't lose my point. And then all I need to do is take the final point. But here comes my Merc Nob ability again. But he's kind of going to skirt to the side of it, so it doesn't do too much damage to him. He's getting shot, though, so we are going to start to whittle him down. He's going to pull his dragon back. My troll's been a bit beaten up, but I'm going for his point. I need to do something, or I'm going to lose this. So I send my troll over to his point closest to his base. There's nothing there, so I'm able to take it. I've still got my point, so this is good. All I got to do is hold that point up north, and I've won this, hopefully. He's only got 18 points left. He won't be able to hang on too long. I'm bringing all of my force up there. I'm kind of just ignoring the middle point for now, just focusing on my point and his point. That's what I'm going to go for. I've taken the point up near his base. I'm bringing this whole force over. I can't lose this now, right? I've got it all sorted. Or so I thought until 2 Drakes ended up on my troll's face. But it's getting close now. I've got him down to 9 points. All I need to do is hold this objective, keep my troll alive on this point. He somehow takes out a lot of my other units. I don't see how, probably the breath attacks. But I've got him down to 3 points now. But then I tell my troll to retreat to save it. I didn't notice the score, though. If I did, I would have left my troll there because I would have won right there. But he's able to take his point back just in the nick of time, so he doesn't lose. It's 77-1. If I'd stayed there just like 2 seconds longer, I would have won this. But goddammit, I ran away with my troll. Should have left the troll there. Should have taken it on the chin. But I've done fucked it up. He's got me down to 60 points now, but of course, old Zerky's always got a trick up his sleeve. So I whip my knob out and use its OP ability while the guy's not looking. He's not paying attention to this point, and watch as my cheeky green gassy goo goes and kills these 2 units. Look how quickly. In like 5 seconds. All dead. Nice. That frees me up for a final assault on this point. If I can just take this for just even a millisecond, I should be able to win it. But luckily, thanks to my OP Merc Nob ability, I've taken away some of his units. He now doesn't have enough to engage me. I tie up 2 of his units and use my 3rd one to take the point, and that is going to be a glorious, hard-fought victory. The guy gets me down to 46 points to the 1. Fair play to him, good game, a close one. But there we go, Realms of Ruin, what do you reckon? I quite enjoyed it. I'll certainly give the full game a good go. Let me know what you think. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the patrons who support this channel. I'll see you in the future.